Stacey Mosely and welcome to this special Insight video. Today I'm talking with speaker, coach and blogger Tom Panos.
Surprisingly, you'd think it would be all the high-profile ones, like the ones that come to mind that have got lots of brand and presence because they do the speaking circuit, and they got visibility. You know, John McGrath, Matt Steinwade, Andrew Bill's very visible. So I can come across and give you lots of visible names, but I actually surprisingly get something out of nearly every interview. And I sit there from a position of not trying to do a video, I sit there from a position of curiosity. Yeah. And I think it's a really good thing to do, because when you're curious, you might say, I actually don't believe in the way they do real estate. I wouldn't do it that way. I'd work a different way. But even someone that, for instance, I interviewed Chris Gilmore, who predominantly does not use print. But I sat there and I listened and I found out great things that he does in pre-listings, or great things that he does that open for inspections. So I'm not going to go single off one person, because it's going to in many ways dilute another person. But rest assured, every person, Stacey, that is on my blog with a video, they've all got amazing things, because they're all writing $1 million a year in gross commission. And some of them come from areas where the average price is $500,000, and some of them come from areas where the average price is $2 million. And obviously they do different things in different marketplaces. But I've just found that if I'm curious, and my viewers, there's 15,000 people on that list, as I was telling you before, they love hearing from other agents. They tell me that they don't want me to put too many trainers on there. They'd rather me have agents that are doing the stuff to get the listings, to get the vendor paid advertising. So every one of those interviews, I get something. Some of them I get 10 things out of it, but some people I get 1 or 2 things out of them. Okay, so I'm a little bit biased, obviously, because I work for News Limited. And I'm also supportive of realestate.com, because News Limited is the major shareholder of that business. So people need to be aware that they can't help it. You know, if you're employed by an organisation, you're generally supportive. So I'll put that on the table. I only work in the organisation because I actually believe in the product. Otherwise, I'd go off and be doing something else. So here's my view, that digital is important, print is important, signboards are important, databases are important, stay in touch strategies are important. And I think that what we're seeing, and I can't help it, when I interview real estate agents around the country, and I recently interviewed Marcus Chiminello, who had ranked #2 in your top 100 agents, behind James Tostovan, who are both strong print clients. And I said to Marcus, I said, you know, you're a big user of print. And he said, look, it's, you know, I do it because it actually works for clients. So I think what we're seeing is that digital continues to get active buyers, and that's growing. Signboard gets local buyers. Print appears to get passive aspirational buyers. In fact, on my site, I've got, under free tools, RP Data use a thing which they measure print and online, and their effectiveness in marketing campaigns. And they actually find that in most of Australia, a multi-channel approach, a print and online, gives you a higher selling figure and, you know, higher success rate. So I think that yes, the world is changing. Video is becoming absolutely critical, and we're going to see more and more of it. But I'm seeing that the best real estate agents realise that real estate is still a contact sport. It's about getting bums on seats. And as I wrote in your blog recently, even though the world has changed, and yes, real estate is quite different to what it was 20 years ago, Stacey, real estate is still a contact sport. Nothing happens without a conversation. A buyer, a lead, a seller, a vendor management conversation, they are all voice-to-voice, belly-to-belly stuff. And I don't think that's changing in 2014. I think the first thing that agents should do is get the dollar. Because when you say, oh, where should they be putting their dollar? Well, if you're not very good at getting vendor paid marketing, if you haven't got a good value proposition to articulate to a vendor, you're only going to have a scarce amount of money to actually use. And when you've got scarcity, what you basically got to do is say, I've got to give you the best campaign on a budget. My approach is quite different. My approach is treat selling the house as the biggest commodity that you're going to sell as a vendor. Articulate to the vendor that an extra $4,000 in marketing is half a bid at an auction. That's what we're talking about. Explain to a vendor that if you don't utilize all the marketing resources that are available, if you don't use 100% of your marketing resources, how will you know you've achieved 100% of the result? So I'd like to go backwards and say, hey, if you're only getting $500, you're not going to be able to get too much more. So you probably have to look at the things that are the cheapest. And what are the cheap? Doing cheap internet campaigns. And let me tell you, a cheap internet campaign is not having a property on the internet, because a cheap internet campaign gets you on page 10 of the search results. And unless you are on page 1 or page 2 of the search results, Stacey, you have done what the book Google says, and that is you have built a billboard in the forest. No one is going to notice you. People don't sit on websites and go to page 10 of the search results. You need to embrace the products that the online companies have, which are appearing on page 1 and page 2. $500 does not get you that sort of view or look in print, online, anywhere. So I really, urge real estate agents to actually have a chance over the next 2 to 3 months to reinvent themselves and become world-class at getting paid vendor paid marketing, because marketing campaigns aren't going to reduce in price. I think it's probably the most important 1 to 2 months of the year, Stacey. I really do. I think to myself that this is not the period to be waking up with hangovers after Christmas parties. And the reason why is this. It's twofold. Number one is, if you look at your income over 12 months, it's not evenly split by 12 equal months. You basically have a few months of the year where you've got your income concentrated. And I've got to tell you, the spring-summer period, going October, November, December, that's Grand Slam time. That is peak period. It's a bit like tennis. Like, there's lots of tournaments going on, but you got, New York, Australian Open, French Open, and Wimbledon, right? And in real estate, you've got 3 or 4 seasons. This is a critical season. Reason number 2, it's important. The work you're doing now are the listings you're going to have in January and February. Some agents rock up to work on Australia Day or post Australia Day next year, and they say, okay, where to from here? They're the ones that went on cruise mode in November and December. Some agents rock up and they have got 10, 15 auctions set up mid-Jan onwards. And they are the agents that were working, getting back to people, being visible, having the marketing, being on the shopping list, doing their listing presentations, signing them up and saying you're starting on this date. And they start off with a bang. And the way you start your year is generally the way your year unfolds.
You've just heard from Tom Panos. Thanks for joining us. I'm Stacey Mosely.